The call comes Thursday evening. Not to the office, to a windowless basement briefing room. A windowless basement briefing room where cases that officially don't exist are handled. My supervisor, Special Agent Harris, stands at the board. 7 photographs, red lines, names. He says one sentence. These people are planning to rob the Federal Reserve Bank of Los Angeles. A pause. Heavy, like a stone dropped into still water. Not a branch, not a satellite office. The Federal Reserve. Level 3 vault. 180 million in cash. Old bills, pulled from circulation, scheduled for destruction, untracked, unmarked, simply burned once a quarter. And someone inside the system leaked the date of the next burn. Harris sets a folder on the table, looks at me. We need someone inside. They need a driver. You can drive, and you know how to keep quiet. I open the folder. First page, a photograph. Victor Crane, 51 years old. Former military 2 tours. Then private security. Then 7 years of silence. Then he reappeared. With money, with people. With a reputation as a man who doesn't fail. I close the folder. When do I start? My name is Danny Markov. 32 years old. Former stuntman, then courier for people who don't ask questions. One stint 8 months. Walked out quiet. Work for myself. The referral comes through Serge Collins. A real person, a turned informant, he's known. Crane since private security days. Serge was told one thing, introduce me as a reliable driver and disappear. First meeting in a garage on the outskirts of the city. Smells of oil and metal. Music plays just loud enough to cover conversation. At every exit, someone pretending to work. Crane doesn't meet me. A woman, around 40, short dark hair, eyes like a scalpel. She looks at me for 3 seconds and says, sit down. Her name is Ada Rain, Crane's right hand. She fires questions without pause. Where I worked, who with, why I left, what I can do, whether I've been watched, whether I have debts. I answer evenly, no extra words. She stands, leaves, returns in 2 minutes. Come Friday, alone, no phone. Friday, they drive me blindfolded for 40 minutes. I count the turns, memorize accelerations. After the 20th turn, I understand they're driving in circles. Deliberately. They remove the blindfold in a basement. Concrete walls, 1 lamp, a table, 4 chairs, and Victor Crane. He sits across from me and says nothing. For a long time, I don't fill the silence. Whoever fills the silence first is nervous, and a nervous man is a weak man. They don't take weak men here. Crane finally speaks. Serge says you can drive. Yes. Says you know how to keep quiet. Yes. He looks at me a few more seconds, then nods barely as if to himself. Stands. Welcome, Danny. His handshake is like a vice. He looks me in the eyes at that moment, searching for something. I don't know if he found it. Crane lays out the plan methodically. No emotion, like an engineer at a meeting. Date 23 days from now. Window 4 hours between guard shifts. Inside man Thomas Reed, a security guard recruited 6 months ago. He'll disable one of 3 alarm circuits and leave a service door open on level -2. The explosives man Cole Burns works the vault chamber. Not an explosion, a directed thermal charge, silent 90 seconds. The tech, Ray Holloway, kills cameras on a specific section. Not all of them, only the ones that matter, so no alarm trips early. 2 enforcers, the Decker brothers, hold the interior perimeter. Silent, professional, frightening. Ada. Coordinates from outside on radio. And 2 vehicles. First a van, takes the cargo heads north. Second me, a sedan. Parallel route, I'm the distraction. If anyone follows the van, I make sure they follow me instead. Crane looks at me when he finishes. Questions. I shake my head. He nods. For the first time with something resembling respect. The next 3 weeks rehearsal. Every day a new route. I drive the city, memorize alleys. Time traffic lights, find places to lose a tail. Ada follows behind and watches my reactions to road closures. Pedestrians, police cars. I react correctly every time. On day 12, Crane invites me to dinner. A restaurant. Normal food. Almost normal conversation. He asks about my childhood. I answer with the legend, but the legend is written well, and I've long since learned it as my own life. He talks about the military, about coming back and realizing the world outside runs on rules. Nobody explained to you. I listen, really listen, And I understand this man isn't just smart. He's lonely. He built a structure of people around himself that he pays and trusts exactly as much as needed real trust for no one. Except maybe Ada, I file that away. It matters. On day 18, the first setback, Thomas Reed makes contact. The date shifts 5 days, vault maintenance. Crane gathers everyone, he doesn't get angry. That's more frightening than if he did. He simply recalculates everything out loud in front of everyone and looks at each person in turn. When he looks at me, he holds it a second longer. I hold his gaze. Day X, 4 in the morning, dark, cold. I sit in the sedan 3 blocks from the bank radio, tuned to the crew's frequency. I hear breathing silence, rare short phrases. Thomas is inside. Doors open. Silence. 4 minutes. I count the seconds. Cole, done. Vault chamber open. Ray, section B is clear. Window 7 minutes. Then movement. The van rolls slowly out of the alley behind the bank. No lights. Silent like a shadow. I drive. Danny Ada's voice in my earpiece. Easy, all clear, route 2. Oh. I drive. Route 2 through downtown wide streets, cameras on every corner. I drive exactly at the speed limit. Not faster, not slower, just another car at 4 in the morning. At the 3rd intersection, a police car parked at the curb. Engine running, I don't change speed. Drive past, look straight ahead. The police car doesn't move. I exhale through my nose, slowly. Van is at point 1, Ada says. All clear, continue. Then a sharp sound in the earpiece, one of the Decker brothers. Guard, not Thomas. 2nd floor, a pause. 1 second, 2. Neutralized, another voice says, quiet, calm. As if talking about a light being switched off. I grip the wheel. Keep driving inside, cold. Not fear, something heavier than fear. Everything falls apart on the final stretch. The van is already on its route. I'm driving the sedan down the parallel street. And then in the rearview mirror, 2 unmarked cars. Fast, too fast to be random. Ada, I say into the radio. Tail 2, cars coming for me. A second of silence, draw them out. Route 3. Now, I floor it. The sedan lunges forward. The street narrows, I know this area by heart. 3 weeks of rehearsal. First turn sharp. The cars follow. Second turn across oncoming traffic, past a truck whose driver leans on the horn. Third, into an alley. Lee. One of the pursuit cars can't make the turn, impact screech of metal. It's out. The second keeps coming. From the pursuer's window, a flash. A shot. The rear window explodes. I duck, hold the wheel. Another turn, another. I hit a wide avenue and see ahead an intersection with a red light and a stream of cars. I don't brake. I blast through the intersection. Tires screaming around me. Someone hits the pursuer from behind. Not me, the chaser. I check the mirror. The second car is tangled in a crash in the middle of the intersection. 1. I'm alone. I turn into an alley, kill the engine sit, breathe. Danny, Ada's voice. Status clear. I say tail is gone good. Ditch the car. Extraction point, Maple Street, number 7. On foot, I get out, walk. Don't run. A running man draws attention. A walking man doesn't. The warehouse. Everyone assembled. Crane stands at the van, looking at the bags, silent. Then he turns to the crew. Ray, he says phones. Ray Holloway produces a bag. Everyone drops their phone in. Ray pours acid over the bag. Within a minute, nothing remains of the phones but melted plastic. Vehicles, Crane continues. Cole Burns nods. He already knows what to do. Both vehicles, the van and the backup sedan, will be driven to opposite ends of the city. Stripped to parts within 6 hours. Not a single component traceable. Clothes, says Crane. Everything you wore tonight, into bags. We burn them here. No one argues. Everyone changes. The bags go into a metal drum. Cole lights it. Crane watches the fire for a few seconds. Then says Thomas didn't show. Silence. He was picked up leaving the bank, Ada says. An hour ago. Crane closes his eyes. 3 seconds. Opens them. Does Thomas know this warehouse? No, Ada says. Only the Hampton Street meeting point. We're not using it. Good. Then we have time. Money in 48 hours. We leave one by one. No contact until the signal. He looks at each person. Last at me. Good work, Danny. I nod. Inside, nothing. Emptiness. The kind that comes when you've lived someone else's life for too long. 48 hours later. A private house on the outskirts. Crane lays the bags on the table. Counts methodically, each bundle separate. 174 million, he says. Some bills are marked for destruction with a chemical compound. Unusable. He announces the shares. Himself, 30%. Ada, 15, Cole, and Ray, 12 each. The Decker brothers, 8 each. Thomas, 7, but Thomas isn't here. Me, 8. And then Decker Sen. And then Decker Sr. stands up. Wait, he says. Thomas is gone. His share stays. We split it between us. Crane looks at him. Thomas did his job. His share goes to his family. His family wasn't sitting under bullets last night, Decker says. We were. The tension in the room like a wire pulled tight. Decker Jr. slowly rises beside his brother, both staring at Crane. Crane doesn't move. Neither does Ada, her hand near her waist. I sit still. Wait, Crane says quietly. Sit down, Jack. Decker Sr. holds his gaze for one more second, then sits. Slowly, like a man filing the moment away. Crane continues dividing the money as if nothing happened. But I see it something broke. Something small but important. A crack. And I know that cracks in crews like this don't heal. Crane sets a phone on the table. On the screen, a photograph. Me 3 weeks ago, at a payphone 2 blocks from the garage. Explain, he says quietly. I look at the photograph. There it is. The moment that couldn't be predicted. Someone saw me. Someone photographed me. Someone passed it to Crane. The next 30 seconds decide everything. I look at the photograph, then I laugh. Quietly. Tiredly. Calling my mother. She doesn't have a cell phone, just a landline. I didn't want to flash my number, never know who's listening. Paranoia, I guess. Crane looks at me, for a long time. Ada looks at me, her gaze a scalpel. Then Crane picks up the phone, puts it in his pocket. Paranoia is good, he says. In our line of work, he stands, pulls out a bag, sets it on the table. Your share, Danny. I take the bag, walk to the door, and in that moment, I understand he didn't believe me. He accepted the answer, but he didn't believe it. He's too smart to believe. He simply decided now wasn't the time. That the money mattered more. That he'd deal with it later. Later would never come. I call my handler from the car. Give the address. Say you have 20 minutes. They're all here. Harris says one word. Moving. I park 2 blocks away. Wait. 17 minutes later, the street fills with blue and red. I watch in the rearview mirror. They bring Crane out of the house. He walks evenly, calmly, hands behind his back, but his posture like a man who simply stepped out for a walk. At the car, he stops, turns his head, looks down the street. His gaze stops exactly where my car is parked. For 3 seconds, then they put him inside. Ada follows. The Decker brothers, Cole, Ray, all of them. I sit and watch. I don't feel victory. I don't feel relief. I feel only exhaustion deep, like after a long swim against the current. Victor Crane receives 28 years. Ada Rain, 22. The Decker brothers, 18 each. Cole Burns and Ray Holloway, 12 each. The money is recovered almost entirely. 161 million. The rest was never found. I hand in the bag of money that same day, untouched. Harris looks at me, says, "Good work," I nod. Take my jacket, leave. On the street, I stop, stand for a few minutes, think about Crane, about how he looked at me in the basement that first time, about how he talked about the military over dinner, about how he looked from the sidewalk before they took him away. He knew not at the end earlier, maybe from the moment at the payphone, maybe even before that, but he kept going anyway, because the plan was too good, because he'd built it for too long, because sometimes people keep moving forward not because they don't see the danger, but because stopping is more frightening than falling. I walk to the car, get in, stare through the windshield. I tell myself you did the right thing. I say it several times, and each time it sounds a little more right, but not quite, never quite.